accept the fact that the city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportions. What he means is Old Testament, real wrath of God type stuff. Fire, brimstone, come down from the skies, rivers and seas boiling. Warriors of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes, the dead rising from the grave. Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Broadcasting live from the WDCE studios out of the University of Richmond, you're listening to 90.1 FM from the most trusted puppet in media. Reporting since Roswell, I'm Sam Newsman, and this is Saturday morning. I want to thank everyone, of course, for listening to the show. That's at Sam Newsman on Instagram, at Sam Newsman on Twitter, Sam Newsman on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch, all over the place, setting the standard, raising the bar, which is what we do every Saturday morning. Of course, the only way that I know how to do, and that's me being a real media puppet. Of course, everybody was probably wondering where the heck I was last week. And of course, if you've been following me on those social channels, you'll know where I was. I was down in South Carolina. Down in South Carolina at a Retro Toy Con put on by our friends over at Toy Federation. Now, this is the second year that I've been to that particular particular convention. And I tell you, it's definitely one of my favorites. Well, the reason why is because it's pretty bougie. Yes, it's a bougie convention, if you will, because there's a lot of retro toy vendors, and the toy vendors, in order to get on the list, you have to be a pretty good vendor. Pretty much the same vendors every single year because they all keep it tight. They all run a tight ship over there. So shout out to Ryan, who is the owner of Toy Federation. But had a wonderful time. I had a wonderful time down there. Of course, you can see some of the videos on at Sam Newsman on Instagram. I did some live streaming, and also I did some interviews where it was with the hard cam. So those have not been published just yet. We're still working on those on the back end, and we do plan to get those up. Connected with quite a few different celebrities, while we were down there. Samantha Newark, if you remember who she is, she was the voice of Jim. Yeah, Jim. The voice of Jim, yes. Truly outrageous, Jim, truly outrageous. Yes, that Jim. Yeah, so we did talk to her on both days, Saturday and Sunday. And the one that we did on Saturday is posted up on at Sam Newsman on Instagram. So that one is there. Arthur Burghardt, we did talk to Arthur Burghardt. Talk to Arthur Burghardt about sectars. You know that Arthur Burghardt was the voice of Spydrax, General Spydrax in Sectars. Sectars only lasting 5 episodes, and then it got the plug got pulled. Yeah. So and once again, that was a hard cam interview. So one that we've not published just yet. I got a couple of interviews with Arthur that I've not published. Probably should set up a whole Arthur Burghardt set. Maybe we can start doing that. Should be setting up some YouTube videos here pretty soon as well. Let's see here. Oh, yes. Oh, I know. It was the 4 voice actors of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that were there too. We talked to them on Sunday. And once again, like I said, those were on a hard cam. They were not streamed live. And we do have those that will be coming soon. But it was quite an amazing event. And once again, sorry, I didn't even say, we have the Sam Cam up. We have the Sam Cam up right over here, the Instagram Sam Cam over here, and then the YouTube cam right here in front of me as well. So if you are watching on Instagram, you can watch on Instagram, but I do know that I believe the YouTube feed is a little bit stronger as well. Of course, you should be listening to us on the radio. If you're not listening to us on WDCE 90.1 FM, you can download the Simple Radio app. You know, the signal is only about 8 to 10 miles in range. But what you can do is you can download the Simple Radio app, which I encourage all of you to do. You should download the Simple Radio app. When you download the Simple Radio app, search WDCE, and then you can listen to the show live. and the segments that we don't have here on YouTube or Instagram, because we do play licensed music from cartoons and other things. And of course, you can request your own cartoons, themes that you'd like to hear by just reaching out to me at Sam Newsman on Instagram, at Sam Newsman on Twitter. And I will set up a whole playlist for you if you would like. It could be your very own playlist, brought to you by whoever you are and all of your favorite cartoon themes and songs that you remember when you were a child. Well, that's what we do. The only radio show dedicated to the magic of Saturday morning, hosted by me. Yes, of course, a real puppet. A couple of people I see already popped in the chat. Triple D down there in the chat. White Vegeta, that's over on Instagram. Devoid of Logic over here on YouTube. Guys, if you wouldn't mind, just go ahead and let everybody know that we're here on the radio. Like I said, we weren't here last week. Probably everybody was upset, but we were broadcasting live. And when we were broadcasting live, we were there live streaming from the actual event. Like I said, Retro Toy Con. Of course I do. Well, I was thinking that whether or not I was going to keep doing these conventions, whether or not I was going to do these conventions or not. However, I do plan on possibly going back to that one next year. Of all things, just if the stars align the way that they're supposed to, I do plan on going back to that again. Shout out to Roundhead, who just joined in the chat as well. One of the things that I do is I sit there, I can read and see what's going on in the chat as I'm here live. It's a little bit of an interactive show because, what else? Why else would I not have this up every Saturday morning? Shout out to Ash Bailey. Ash Bailey, I see that. I see that you were here down there. Ash Bailey definitely was engaged on the Instagram post that I posted the other day. Just trying to elicit a response. Which I got it. So that was the whole point. So shout out to Ash Bailey for engaging in the chat over on Instagram. That's at Sam Newsman on Instagram. Hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving and that you ate too much food. The average person eats about 4,500 calories. I'm going to say that again. The average person eats about 4,500 calories every single Thanksgiving day. So the question is did you eat your 4,500 calories? Are you stuffed? Are you bloated? Are you still recovering? I know that my show producer sat there and passed out. And it wasn't even a turkey coma. I just hadn't had meat in about 40 days. Had some meat and he was passed out. Yes, Roundhead, of course. The YouTube feed does work better. We are on Instagram, but if you have the ability to hop over on YouTube, Sam Newsman on YouTube, you can see me and probably hear me a lot better. Also, you'll probably be able to hear the phone calls on YouTube better as well. Once again, so like I said, Retro Toy Con in Greenville, South Carolina. It was an amazing show. Saw some amazing things too. In terms of action figures and toys, things I've not seen in a while. I was mentioning Arthur Burkhart and Sectars. I did see a Sectars Hive. Don't really see those that often. I saw a Sectars Hive in the box, and it was signed by Tim Clark. I think he had it for $2,200. Wasn't going to buy that. Nope. And some of the prices were a little bit outrageous. I'm just going to have to say that to be on the record. They were a little bit outrageous, thinking that their toys and what they had was worth more than they actually were. It's funny when you talk to some of these vendors and they're like, I can't believe they have that for that price. I just sold one for blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, why the hell did you not give me a call? Because if you were telling me that you were selling a Fort Carrium for $400 in the box, and then all of a sudden this guy over here has it for $1,000. Well, next time you get a Fort Carrium in the box, make sure you give me a call. In fact, if you get anything Brave Star related, give me a call. I was on the casual toy chat last night, and there was this gentleman by, I forgot what his name was, L Marvel Customizer, whatever. I don't know what it was. But anyways, he showed his collection, had a very nice toy collection, and he had a custom Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that he dressed up as Brave Star. Very impressive stuff. So shout out to, was it El Marvel Customizico or whatever. Anyways, he was from Peru. And he had a pretty fancy mohawk as well. Definitely will try to get in touch with him off record. I think I need to get me a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles dressed up in Brave Star regalia. Well, let's see what else. Oh yes, speaking of casual toy collector, Flex 47. 47 Flex. This is something that I did a while back. I challenged Casual and Brucey, and I said, hey, listen, and they were going through some rough stuff towards the beginning earlier of this year. And I said, well, in order to just get through the hump, what you guys should do is you should just create a song every single week and make a new song, which is where the Flex 52 came from. And that's a fact. That is a fact. And they did it. So they're on the 47th Flex as of right now. Only a couple more left to go. That's the Casual Toy Chat every Friday and Saturday night, 10:30 on YouTube. It's not a family show. Not a family show. Definitely need to make sure that I say that. Not a family show. So it is for 21 years or older in terms of its content. But definitely want to shout them out, though, because they've been continually setting the standard, raising the bar every single week, which is awesome. The Terror of Titano. See you down there in the chat. Hello and good morning. Like I said, we are broadcasting live on Instagram. People always wonder whether or not they can actually see me. Well, you can see me. And yes, I'm here and I'm a real puppet. And people just think I'm just some voice out in the ether somewhere. No, I'm a real puppet. I'm a real puppet that is here live on the radio. Been doing this for over 5 years now. Well, we're in our 5th season. Been doing this for quite a while. But we are here, like I said, at Sam Newsman on Instagram. Have the camera feed over there. And then at Sam Newsman here on YouTube. One of the things that was very interesting about this past weekend is that I was able to meet Deep Cut Dave. Should we call him Deep Cut? Maybe Deep Dive Dave. When I was talking to Cam Clark being the voice of Leonardo, he was also the voice of He-Man. He was also a voice of one of the California Raisins on the California Raisins cartoon. But anyways, Cam Clark, I was talking to him. He was talking about deep dives. He was like, do you ever play any deep dives? Of course, I call them deep cuts, but he said deep dives. And, I kind of like the idea of deep dives. Good morning, DFS. DFS joining in the chat. And like I said, we're also here over on YouTube. You'll probably be able to hear everything a little bit better on YouTube. But deep dives was what he called them. And those are cartoons that typically people are not familiar with. And that's what we always start the show off. So, of course, I'm waiting for Dave to give us a call here on the radio. But it was very interesting because I had not met Dave in person until this past weekend, which was a really fantastic thing. Dave is, of course, quite the savant when it comes to information. And, one of the things that I didn't know is that Dave he used to be a professor. Well, of course, I should have known that because with the wealth of knowledge that he has. Good morning, Figurehead. I see you over there. Good morning, Big M. Guys, we're also here over on YouTube as well. So if you're over here on Instagram, trying to funnel people over here to YouTube, because if you come over here to YouTube, when the phone calls start coming in, you might be able to hear the phone calls a little bit better. So like I said, as we are waiting for Deep Cut Dave, I don't know. We'll have to ask him. It was Drive Time Dave a couple of weeks ago, so he was stuck in traffic. But definitely want to shout out Dave because, like I said, Dave, a wealth of knowledge, being a college professor, if you will, being a college professor. Like I said, I should have known that. I mean, because he's just like an encyclopedia, just, information after information after information after information. And Dave is a giant too. He's a giant. Definitely, he was taller than, everybody's taller than me and bigger than I am. I'm just a puppet, but even bigger than my producer. So even taller than my producer, towered over my producer, if you will. Deep Dive Dave. So should we call him Deep Dive Dave? And the Deep Dive Dave. I don't know. That might take away from Triple D. Triple D be calling in, I believe, at the next hour. So Triple D, I know that you're out there. So I think I gave you the phone number the other day, but it looks like that we do have a call coming in. I think this is going to be Deep Cut Dave. Let's go ahead and see if this is him. So good morning. Is this a Deep Cut Dave? Dave, are you there?
Yes, finally.
There you are. Hold on, wait a minute. There you go. Patch you into the board over here. Now I can hear you in the studio. So, good morning, Dave. How are you doing?
Well, not bad, not bad. Had a pretty good Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, did you have your 4,500 calories worth of food? Because that's the average. The average is 4,500
Yeah,
calories.
I guess.
You're like, I guess. I mean, was it more than 4,500? I guess here's another question for you. What's your favorite side dish? If you have to pick one side dish to go with your turkey, what would it be?
Dressing.
Dressing has to have the dressing with the turkey. If not, then it's not Thanksgiving at all, right?
Well, no, then it's just turkey.
Then it's just turkey. Then it's just turkey. Dave, I was just talking to people here on the radio just a few moments ago. It was just a pleasure to meet you over the weekend. Of course, I should have known that you used to be a college professor because of all the wealth of knowledge that you have and that you bring every single week here on the radio show. And like I said, you were there. We met each other at Retro Toy Con. I want you to just give you the floor for just a few minutes. Talk about your experience that you had at Retro Toy Con and a couple of things that really stuck out in your mind.
Well, I won't forget. You told me Ron Simmons apparently is terrified of puppets.
Yes, he's terrified of puppets. This is one reason why I barely even went over to where the wrestlers were, because I was afraid. Last time I was when I was at Joe Fest a couple of years back, and Ron Simmons was there. One of the things that happened was, man, he took off like lightning. I mean, like the Flash. And at Joe Fest, there was not a wall behind him. So the last thing I wanted to do was walk over there and say hello to him, and him turn around and just run right into the wall, because they were right up against a wall, and just smack up against a wall, which I didn't want that to happen. So I kind of left those guys alone. I do know their agent over there fairly well, but like I said, I didn't want to freak Ron out again. But yes, he is terrified of puppets. I'm not sure why. Someone who's just so big and tough and who also played for Florida State, I wouldn't think that he would be that terrified of puppets. But yes, you are correct. He is.
Yeah, go figure, man. It's always the ones you least suspect.
Yeah, and in the words of Ron Simmons, damn. So what else did you now I remember we were talking a little bit off record while you were there, and you always say that you don't bring enough money, as much money as you should, or you start spending too much money while you're there. So what did you end up picking up?
Well, probably more than I should have, but not as much as I wanted.
That's the case all of those places. And then the worst part about that is that when you do buy something, then you go around the corner and you see another vendor and you're just like, damn it, I just spent my money and now I don't have enough money to buy that thing. So then you have to start picking and choosing, and it's pretty. So what did you pick up? What did you buy when you were there?
Well, a couple of those Super 7 G.I. Joe releases.
Oh, the Reaction G.I. Joe releases?
Yeah, and I think they called Ultimate. Was one of the bats.
Oh, you got the blue bat.
Yes.
Now did you open the blue bat?
As of yet, no.
You have not. Now, do you typically open up your figures, or do you leave them in the box?
Typically, I open them up. Yeah.
That's good. They do need to breathe. The only thing I just caution you not to do is to put them behind glass in a soulless detolf, which is what a lot of people do. They tend to open up their figures and then sit them behind glass. And if you're just going to keep your figures suffocating behind glass, you might as well just keep them suffocating in the package themselves.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's great. But I was at a shop the other day. I found an old Robin Hood Prince of Thieves figure.
Oh, yeah, the old Kenner line.
Yeah. Well, thing is, it obviously had been repackaged because apparently Crossbow Robin is now packing a submachine gun.
Oh, well, you know what? Hey, listen, those merry men, those Robin Hood and those merry men, I guess they had to upgrade their arsenal. The bow and arrows probably just aren't doing it anymore.
That seems a little unfair. I mean, the sheriff's guy's only got bow and arrows and swords.
Well, the sheriff's a jerk, so the sheriff, listen.
Well, Alan Rickman, I mean.
Oh, man, yeah. I mean, can you imagine all of a sudden seeing Robin Hood rocking a machine gun? That's
I was like, this film does not seem historically accurate.
You're right. Yeah. That's a little bit. It's set in the future. It's one of those modern renditions of Robin Hood. Where
I guess. Yeah.
Now, what else? Now you mentioned when we were there, you picked up a book by a gentleman by the name of Mark McCrae. Is that good? Have you had a chance to read that book? And what is that book titled? Do you remember what that book is called?
Oh, boy, I wish you hadn't asked me that. I don't have it with me.
Well, I think I do. Hold on. Wait a minute. Do
Okay.
I have it? I think I have it. Hold on. Let me see if I. It's Saturday morning. Hold on. Blah, blah. Hold on. Dun, dun, dun. Let me see if I can get the. The best. Wait a minute. Let me get back up over here in front of the camera. Try to go get stuff. The best Saturdays of our lives. The best Saturdays of our
That
lives.
was it, yes.
The best Saturdays of our lives by Mark McCrae, and you had a chance to speak to Mark McCrae. You remember exactly what who he was and what he did?
Well, he's a writer. We talked about that. We just swapped information on various TV shows. Talked about Wolf Rock TV.
Wolf Rock. Explain to the audience what Wolf Rock TV is.
Well, he didn't seem to be aware of the show. I mean, he didn't know what the show was, and I explained it to him. Basically, it was one of those celebrity cartoons.
Oh, okay. Where they have celebrity. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Right. Except this was based around Wolfman Jack.
Oh, you're talking about the old radio.
Yeah. I had him and Frank Welker.
Oh, so both of them were in it.
Yes. Thing is, it seems to be lost media.
Oh, so you can't find it on the internet anywhere?
No, nothing. It's like the master tapes were thrown out, and nobody has any memory of the show.
Oh, so it's one of those Mandela effect kind of things, like Berenstain
Well,
Bears and
apparently,
Berenstain.
yeah. I mean, they only aired like 5 episodes for like a month and a quarter.
No, well, yeah. Well, hey, listen. At least it made it a little bit longer than Sergeant Savage, which you said only lasted one episode.
Yeah.
Mark McCrae is an award-winning television writer who was instrumental in the launch of the classic Boomerang Network. Also worked for Cartoon Network as a television programmer, and he lives in Powder Springs, Georgia. I do plan on having him on the show eventually. We did talk. I connected with him. I connected with him on Sunday. I think it was after you left, because you left on Saturday evening, I believe, after the dinner that we had.
I did, yes.
But yes, I spoke to Mark the next day. Very interesting individual, and definitely look forward to having him on the show. Shout out real quick, Animal Mother Customs. I see it here who's just joined in the chat. Just to let everybody know, we are broadcasting live here on Instagram. That's at Sam Newsman on Instagram, and we're also here live on YouTube with Deep Cut Dave, who's always bringing the education and information. Now, Dave, you did send me a couple of things that we were going to play this morning. One of them is the Richie Rich Scooby-Doo show. Could you talk a little bit about that program?
Well, yeah, that was Hanna-Barbera. It was well, it's weird. It's one of those, like, the opening credits was brand new. The Richie Rich was still original. They would later spin him off into his own show. And the Scooby-Doo stuff, I believe, was just reruns of the Shaggy and Scrappy. Excuse me, the Scooby and Scrappy-Doo show from the, I think, 78, 79. Oh
yes, yeah, I did remember seeing the Scrappy-Doo is in the intro when I was looking it up this past week. Another interesting show, Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels.
Yeah, that was another Hanna-Barbera show.
Well, who were the Teen Angels?
I don't remember their names, but it's like 3 gals in a Winnebago. They're just driving through the night, and they find Captain Caveman, the world's first superhero.
Captain Caveman being the first. How is Captain Caveman the first superhero?
Well, he's a caveman, and he fought crime.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Yeah, Captain Caveman.
Apparently, a lot of crime back in the caveman days.
Right. And now I did have someone give us another request, and probably you can talk to us a little bit about that. This Super Chicken. Are you familiar with Super Chicken?
yes, I do remember Super Chicken.
Can you talk a little bit about Super Chicken? I think I remember that, if I'm not mistaken, it is made by the same animation studio that did Schoolhouse Rock, I think.
I believe it was, yes.
What is Super Chicken all about? What is that all about?
Well, it's about a chicken that fights crime.
It's always about these superheroes that fight crime. A chicken, a caveman.
I know. Like, apparently, crime was a real big problem back in the '60s. I mean,
right? Yeah, it was. Well, hell, crime seems to be a big problem now. It's going up all over the country. But outside of that, the one program that you wanted to talk about specifically is, and you sent me the link, so I appreciate you sending me the link to this one. Had no clue about this, so you're going to have to definitely break it down for us a little bit. And that is King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. What is this show about? And if you could just give us a little bit of wisdom and information about this particular show.
Well, it's weird. I have heard it aired on TV in a few markets, but I've never seen it. I found it on a VHS tape, and it's weird. I found Volume 1 in East Tennessee, and I found Volume 2 in Middle Tennessee.
And this was at a store? You found it in a store?
I'm sorry?
Oh, you found it, was it, you said on DVD? Was it on DVD?
No, VHS.
Oh, VHS. Even better.
Yeah, this is a long time ago.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what is I guess it's about King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. Just the standard story, I guess.
Pretty much. I mean, obviously they take some liberties with it. The Japanese show actually was called King Arthur and Knights of the Round Table, obviously in Japanese. It lasted 30 episodes, but only the first 7 were ever dubbed into English.
So the VHS tapes that you have, you said there was a Volume 1 and a Volume 2. Are those in English, or are those in?
No, those were in English. Yes.
Okay, all right. So I just didn't know if you had captions on those VHS tapes that you had. So you have any? So you just have the 7 episodes on those 2 VHS tapes?
Actually, I believe there are 3 tapes, but I've only ever seen the 2.
Well, listen. You need to tighten up and start hunting some more. You got to go get that 3rd one and complete the collection. So,
well, I mean, completing the collection, I need all 30 episodes.
Well, yeah, touche. The 30 episodes with, I guess, English dubbing. Well, no, not English dubbing. Well, they only made 7 with English dubbing. So I guess if you tried to find all the rest of them, you have to read captions the whole time. Which I guess that's fine. Yeah. Which that's fine, I believe. So.
Well, maybe Discotheque Media will step up.
Right. Yeah. Maybe so. Maybe so. Are any of these episodes on YouTube anywhere, or can you just find them?
If you can, well, I'm sure they're on some dark corner of the internet.
Yeah, everything is on some dark corner of the internet. That is the truth. That is factual.
But the original show, it only lasted 30 episodes, ran from 1979 to 1980.
1979 to 1980, 30 episodes. Mostly in Japan, you said.
Yes. Although it did have a surprisingly large fan base internationally. It was dubbed fully into, I believe, French and Italian.
Well, that'd be very interesting. I wonder if you could find VHS tapes of those, maybe with English dubbing. Then you'd be able to have your whole 30 episode collection.
Well, I don't speak French, so that's going to be a problem.
Well, I mean, that's, yeah, touche again. Well, but you know what? It's not like that you couldn't learn. Not like you can learn. Being a former college professor yourself, which I'm sure that you could probably learn French probably within a week, right? It would only take you a week, right?
I think you're setting the bar a little high here, man.
Well, that's what we do here: set the standard, and we raise the bar high every single week, which is what you do, Dave, when you call in and you give us some information about cartoon themes that we have not heard before. And Dave, I just want to take the time just to thank you personally. It was wonderful meeting you face to face, and hopefully I get to see you again in the future. We'll be at Joe Fest next year, and that'll be in June. Not sure how far Augusta, Georgia is away from where you are, but I will be there. At least that's the plan. I think that's the 3rd weekend in June. And of course, I was talking to the guys who were running Retro Toy Con, And the plan is, so long as an asteroid doesn't hit the Earth, hopefully that I'll be back there next year as well at Retro Toy Con. So look forward to hopefully seeing you there. And like I said, Dave, it was a pleasure meeting you. And like I said, I could just sit and just listen to you, eat popcorn and just listen to you just explain to me all types of stuff that I have no clue about. You can just educate me over and over and over again with your wealth of knowledge. So I just appreciate you being a listener to the show, participating in the show, and once again, educating us all every single Saturday morning.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Dave, you have a great rest of the weekend. And remember, if you've not eaten your 4,500 calories, then you need to just, keep eating some more. So keep it up, and make sure, and if you run out of dressing, go get some more. So go get some more. Dave, you have a wonderful weekend. It was nice talking with you.
Okay, man. I'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. That is Deep Cut Dave, who brings the information every single week. Now, guys, I think I just noticed the fact that now I have a microphone set up I have a microphone over here set up next to the phone. But then all of a sudden, when I patch the phone call into the board, the speaker ends up cutting off on the phone. So you probably can't even hear the phone calls there, which we got to figure this out. But what you can do is you can download the Simple Radio app. You should have that going on in a browser at the same time while I am here on Instagram and YouTube. A shout out to Raw Talk Real Deal. That's toyfiendcult.com. So do you have you ever sat there and walked around different department stores, and they all seem to have the same shirt? They all seem to have the same hat. They all seem to have the same everything. You go to Walmart, they have the same shirt that they have at Target. They have the same shirt and they have the same stuff. And it's the same stuff every single place. Well, not when you go to toyfiendcult.com. Toyfiendcult.com, some of the best original apparel that you can find on the internet that caters to all of us, children of the 80s. Well, I'm not a children of the 80s. I've been doing this since Roswell. But all of you out there, children of the 80s, children of the 90s, children of the 70s, you can go to toyfiendcult.com and you can see a wealth of original artwork, original T-shirts, hoodies, all kinds of apparel that I'm still waiting to get myself. You hear that, Raw? I'm still waiting on a hat. I just want a hat. It doesn't even have to be a fancy hat. I just want a black hat with the Toy Fiend Cult logo. You don't have to sit there and think too hard about it. Just a hat that says Toy Fiend, just the logo. It says Toy Fiend. Well, not only, it didn't even have to say Toy Fiend Cult. I just want the logo on the hat. I'd wear it frontwards or I'd wear it backwards. So that way, as I'm walking around at these conventions, I'd be able to give you some free advertising. Anyways, that's toyfiendcult.com. Toyfiendcult.com. Check it out for some of the best apparel that you won't find anywhere else. Like I said, it's not just a random shirt that you find at a department store. So toyfiendcult.com. Shout out to Raw Talk Real Deal in the chat. Lone Dragon, saw Lone Dragon in the chat over there. Guys, we're both broadcasting live on Instagram and here on YouTube. And so here we are once again, setting the standard, raising the bar, the only way that I know how to, as the only radio show dedicated to the magic of Saturday morning, hosted by me, a real puppet. Shout out to Tiny Plastic Universe. I see you there in the chat too. Guys, download the Simple Radio app. Search WDCE so you'll be able to listen to these cartoon themes that I'm about to play here in just a few moments that Dave went over, that we had some other people call in and reach out in touch with. But all of you out there, we'll be back at the top of next hour. And I believe that Triple D will be calling probably around, 10:05, I believe. So Triple D, set your timer. 10:05. Well, actually 10:10. Let's do 10:10. 10:10. Triple D at the top of next hour at 10:10. And of course, we'll be back here in just a few moments here on the only show dedicated to the magic of Saturday morning, hosted by me, a real puppet. From the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell, I'm Sam NewsMan, and this is Saturday Morning.